Good evening, everybody. Today we will discuss about Ohm's law. What is Ohm's law? What are the apparatus required to verify it experimentally? How you verify Ohm's law experimentally? What are ohmic and non-ohmic substances? So in this class, we will discuss about these points in detailed manner. We know the German scientist Georg Simon Ohm conducted some experiments on electrical circuits, and finally he gave the relation between current flowing through the circuit and applied potential difference. Such relation is called Ohm's law. Ohm's law gives the relation between current flowing through the circuit and applied potential difference. It is not a fundamental law. Fundamental law means it obeys in all situations, but Ohm's law does not obey in all situations. So it is not a fundamental rule. It is just empirical relation between current flowing through the circuit and applied potential difference. What is the statement of Ohm's law? Statement of Ohm's law. If physical conditions are constant, physical conditions are constant means temperature and dimensions of the wire, means length of wire and cross section. If physical conditions are constant, then the current flowing through the wire is directly proportional to applied potential difference. Such relation is called Ohm's law. If physical conditions are constant, then the current flowing through a conducting wire is directly proportional to applied potential difference. From this, V equal some proportionality constant into I. The proportionality constant R is called resistance. Here the proportional constant R is called resistance. Now what is resistance? What is electrical resistance? The electrical property of a substance that opposes the flow of charged particles in a conducting wire. Such opposing property is called resistance of the wire. It is an electrical property. It opposes the flow of charged particles. Such opposing property is called resistance. So according to Ohm's law, the relation is V equal IR, where V is applied potential difference and I is current flowing through the circuit and R is resistance of the circuit. To verify this experiment, to verify Ohm's law, what are the apparatus required? To verify Ohm's law, what are the apparatus required? First one is manganese wire. Why we choose only manganese wire, not copper wire, not iron wire? Because manganese wire is made by using combination of two or more substances. It is an alloy. Alloy means it is the combination of two or more substances. Because of that, its electrical properties are unchanged. When physical conditions are changed, if temperature rises or falls, but its electrical properties are remains unchanged. That is the reason we select a manganese wire. The next component is rheostat. Second one is rheostat. This is symbol of rheostat. This is the symbol of rheostat. Rheostat is also known as variable resistor. It is used to either increase or decrease the resistance. If resistance increases means current flowing through the circuit decreases. Totally, the device rheostat is used to varying the current flowing through the circuit. It is used to adjust the amount of current flowing through the circuit. Means it adjusts the resistance. It is used to either increase the resistance or decrease the resistance. Means if resistance increases, current flowing through the circuit decreases. If resistance decreases, current flowing through the circuit increases. So it is used to either increase or decrease the resistance of circuit, or it is used to either increase or decrease the current flowing through the circuit. Totally, this is rheostat. The other components are, main component is power source. Power source means battery eliminator. This is power source. It supplies electrical energy to the circuit. It maintains constant potential difference between ends of the circuit. So here we select 0 to 6 volts battery. The other important components of this experiment is voltmeter, ammeter and a switch. The purpose of voltmeter is to measure potential difference between 2 points. Purpose of voltmeter is to measure potential difference between 2 points. The purpose of ammeter is to measure amount of current flowing through the circuit. Totally, to verify Ohm's law, the main apparatus are required is manganese wire, rheostat, battery eliminator, voltmeter, ammeter and a switch. Switch means it is used to stop or allow the current into the circuit. It stops or allow the current into the circuit. So these are the apparatus required to verify Ohm's law experimentally. By using this, how you verify Ohm's law experimentally? How you verify Ohm's law experimentally? How you verify Ohm's law experimentally? See, this is a manganese wire. The ends of the manganese wire is joined to a battery eliminator and it is connected to a switch and is connected to a rheostat. Here, this is manganese wire, this is rheostat, battery and a switch. Here all are connected in series combination. The other two components are ammeter. This is ammeter. Ammeter is always connected series in the circuit. It is used to measure current flowing through the circuit. So, this device ammeter is always connected series in the circuit. But voltmeter always connected parallel to the circuit. Voltmeter is always connected parallel in the circuit. Why voltmeter is always connected parallel in the circuit? Because voltmeter has high resistance. If it is connected in series in the circuit like ammeter, no current is enters into circuit because voltmeter has high resistance. It obstructs the current enters into circuit. That is the reason voltmeter is always connected in parallel in the circuit. So this is the experimental arrangement of Ohm's law. So we draw a table between the quantities. We draw a table between the quantities. Potential difference, current and ratio of potential difference and current. By using this rheostat, adjust the potential difference across manganese wire to 1 volt. By using means rheostat having sliding. If you slide the slider, if you move the slider, it increases or decreases the resistance of circuit. Means it controls the amount of current flowing through the circuit. Means it adjusts the potential difference between 2 points in the circuit. So the rheostat is adjusted until potential difference across manganese wire is adjusted to 1 volt. Rheostat is adjusted until potential difference between two ends of the manganese wire is 1 volt. At that time, observe the reading of ammeter. Here potential difference between ends of the manganese wire is 1 volt. At that time, observe the reading of ammeter. Ammeter reading means current flowing through the circuit. Note down in table. So if potential difference is 1 volt, the corresponding current flowing through the circuit is noted in table. Now again, adjust the rheostat until potential difference between ends of the manganese wire is 2 volts. Potential difference between ends of the manganese wire is 2 volts. Means 2 volts is recorded in, visible in voltmeter display. So here potential difference between ends of manganese wire is 2 volt. At that time, observe the reading of ammeter. Means current flowing through the circuit. Note down in table. Potential difference is 1 volt. Corresponding current value. Potential difference is 2 volts. Corresponding the current value. Now adjust the rheostat until potential difference across manganese wire is 3 volts. So adjust the rheostat until the potential difference across manganese wire is 3 volts. At that time, observe the reading of ammeter. Note down in table. So if potential difference between 2 points is 1 volt, corresponding current value. Potential difference is 2 volts, corresponding current value. Potential difference is 3 volts, corresponding current value. Take the ratio of potential difference and current. Potential difference and current. Potential difference and current. Surprisingly, the ratio is a constant value. These three values are same. We get a constant value. That constant value is called resistance of this manganese wire. According to Ohm's law, V equal IR, where R is resistance of that conducting wire. Here the ratio of potential difference and current flowing through a conducting wire is called resistance of that conducting wire. This is called Ohm's law. The ratio of potential difference and current flowing through the wire is a constant. Such a constant is called resistance of a conducting wire. Once again, what is resistance? It is the electrical property of a substance that opposes the motion of charged particles. The property that opposes the motion of charged particles is called electrical resistance of that substance. So once again, what is Ohm's law? If physical conditions are constant, means temperature and dimensions of the wire, then the current flowing through a conducting wire is directly proportional to applied potential difference. Such a relation is called Ohm's law. So Ohm's law gives a relation between applied potential difference and current flowing through the circuit. By using this table, draw a graph between potential difference values and current values. By using this table, draw a graph between potential difference values and current values. If graph is a straight line, means linear, passing through origin, means V is proportional to I. Means that substance obeys Ohm's law. V proportional to I. If applied voltage increases, current flowing through the wire also increases. Means such a substance obeys Ohm's law. If the graph between voltage and current is a linear, the substance is called ohmic substance. Such a substance obeys Ohm's law. The substance which obeys Ohm's law is called ohmic substance. The examples of ohmic substances are all good conductors, all metals. The good examples of ohmic substances are gold, silver, copper, aluminium, bronze, etc. The VI graph of ohmic substances is linear, means V is proportional to I. If applied voltage increases, current flowing through the circuit also increases. Suppose if you draw a graph between potential difference values and current values, if the graph is not a straight line, it is curve, it is non-linear, means V is not proportional to I. Such substances are called non-ohmic substances. V is not proportional to I means such substances are fails to obey Ohm's law. Those substances which does not obey Ohm's law are called non-ohmic substances. The good examples of non-ohmic substances are semiconductors, gaseous substances, electrolytes. Those are called non-ohmic substances. In case of non-ohmic substances, if applied voltage increases, but current flowing is not increases that extent, V is not proportional to I. The VI graph of non-ohmic substances is non-linear. They fails Ohm's law. They do not obey Ohm's law. So the good examples of non-ohmic substances are semiconductors. In textbook, one important point is semiconductors are used to make diodes, transistors, ICs. Those elements are used to make electronic circuits like computers, TVs, something electronic circuits. So semiconductors are used to make diodes, transistors and ICs. They are used in developing of electronic circuits. So this is about Ohm's law. Thank you.